before I get started, you might as well get buckled in because I'm about to go in, okay? I'm not gonna say nice things, all right? So, let me just lead you to this. F Jim Bob, F Bill Gothard, F the IBLP, F Josh, F Michelle. All of them can tiptoe in hell, okay? With gasoline draws on, all of them. Now, with that being said, let's talk about it. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Sass here. I'm here doing a different type of video. Okay, let's talk about the documentary Shiny Happy People that have to do with the Duggars, okay, and the IBLP. Oh, let me tell you. Now, there's 4 episodes to this documentary, but I was only able to see 3 because they were free. So, the 4th episode, I'm unable to see it, but y'all leave it down below what I missed. If I missed some important stuff, I probably did. And if I can see the 4th episode, I will watch it. If it was explosive, I would do a different video. But if it's something that, you know, was the same as the other 3 episodes, y'all just let me know down below, okay? If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe and join the family, child. Alright? The Duggars. The Duggars is a family with wholesome, Christian, conservative values. I have a perfect wife. I have a perfect husband. We have 19 perfect children. And we're going to put them on display for the world. They were led by Jim Bob, the father, and by Michelle, the mother. Okay, Jim Bob, who was a conservative, who, you know, wanted to show people about the Christian ways, the idyllic ways, the ways of a perfect family. He was also a political man. Okay, he actually won a couple of times for the House of Representatives, but he wanted to play with the big dogs, and so he ran for Senate and he lost. But that was the best thing that could have happened to him. Because see, the family took a picture and it was ran on the New York Times, okay? And so someone seen this picture and was like, oh my God, here's this mother and father who's raising 14 children? Like, how is that possible? So of course, you know, articles was written, people was talking about them, they became somewhat known, and then here comes our favorite, TLC, the lying channel, okay? The Discovery Health noticed them and was like, okay, they need to be on television because, see, we ain't never seen nothing like this before. How is it that these 2 people who live a modest life, who have a modest home, are raising 14 children? So, of course, they did a little, you know, documentary, and people started watching. I mean, people started watching. Millions of people started watching throughout the years, and it became 19 kids and counting. And who else was watching? Ding-a-ling-a-ling, me. Oh, I was in it, y'all. Each week, I'm like, let me watch this show. And while I'm watching this modest family, this sweet family with their sweet children, and I see them cooking and cleaning and going shopping and washing their clothes and making their homemade washing detergent. And I'm like, wow. Then it grew and it grew and they became very famous. They were on Today's Show and all these shows and Fox News and, publications. Everyone was talking about the Duggars. But see, while I was watching the Duggars, and I was like, wow, something's not right. Because we have this mother, Michelle, who was so calm and soft-spoken and timid and meekly, while she has 14 children, 15 children, 16 children, 18 children, 19 children. And I'm like, what does she do to release her frustration? Because it ain't no way this woman is this calm all the time. This is definitely for the cameras. And then, of course, you can't fake the funk forever. And you can't be too perfect because there's always going to be a little slither crack that's coming through. And boy, oh boy, when it cracked, it cracked. So then as time went on, we found out that their oldest son, Josh, is a molester jester, okay? Not only that, he was hurting his sisters. Yeah. Yeah. This is not alleged. This is not assumed. This is facts. He was hurting and touching his sisters. Started at 12 years old, okay? And I thought to myself, ooh, this perfect Christian idyllic family. You're kidding me, right? See, the clues was always there. Just needed to watch a little bit harder. So then the news broke that Josh was a complete sicko. But what did his mom and dad do? See, his mom and dad didn't give him the proper help that this young boy needed, okay? This couple, this mom and dad, didn't think to themselves, oh my God, we are literally raising a monster underneath our roof. Let's get him the means of help. Because, like normal people would think, son or not, something's off. So they took him into a trooper's office, which, by the way, was Jim Bob's friend. And so this trooper said, now listen here, young man, what you did was wrong. Do you know that? Josh, oh yeah, I know I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm okay, though. You sure? Are you going to do it again? No, Mr. Officer, I'm not going to do it again. I promise. I'm a Boy Scout. So the trooper said, okay, good. Go ahead your merry way. So they sent him off, okay? Not to a proper psychiatrist, not to a proper place where he can get the therapy that he needs. Oh no, they sent him to the IBLP camp. See, the IBLP is just as disgusting as what Josh did. See, maybe that place is what led him to the monster that he is today. So he didn't get the proper help that he needed. But see, TLC was knocking at the door and they're like, listen, we're here to film, okay? And so Jim Bob was like, oh God, we have to have Josh here because he's the head, he's the oldest child. He has to be in the series. So Jim Bob pulls him out of the camp, the help that he needed, just so they could film their show. That's how much he cared about his son's mental health and well-being. And we all seen what happened from that. Josh still was a monster. Josh still was a perv. He was caught on a website, okay? He was having sex with prostitutes. And then eventually, they found child pornography on his computer. And he is in prison where he belongs today. See, all of these things that happen with the Duggars in their life is based on their principles and their beliefs that they found while going to the IBLP. Now, the people that were involved in this documentary, okay, one of the children, Jill, and her husband participated in this documentary, okay. She was also a victim of Josh's. She didn't want to talk about it. Fine. You don't have to talk about it, okay. That's horrific enough of what happened to you. But something very interesting she said during this interview. See, after it was public backlash and outrage, okay, they had to do a spin-off, all right? So it was with the girls. You know, the girls were getting older. The girls were getting boyfriends. Eventually, they would get married. They would have children. And that's what happened to Jill, okay? Jill had her own show, okay, her and her sister. Jill got married to the guy that, you know, of course, Jim Bob had to approve with a 45-page contract. Absolutely ridiculous. But she found her husband. You know, she's done had children. And in the 7 years that this girl was being paraded around as this perfect child, let's show her off. Okay, let's make a profit off of her, her pregnancy, her husband, and her children. And she said in 7 years, she did not get a dime. This show was a juggernaut. Made millions of dollars off of her and her sisters. Okay? Yes, they made money with 19 Kids and Counting, but they also made money off of them. And she didn't get a dime. Not only that, she asked for TLC to pay for the medical insurance bills that was coming through. And they said, listen, it's been paid. Talk to your father. That SOB. See, we paid your father. So you need to take it up with him. Now, while she was getting married, Jill, okay, in a exciting moment, you know, a little stressed, a little overwhelmed, here her father is, Jim Bob, okay, who wants everyone to think that he's the perfect father, the perfect Christian. This is how you should raise your children. This is how you should treat your children. This man presented a contract to this girl the day before she was getting married. It was either the day before or the day of her wedding. Of course she wasn't thinking about anything. She just seen something, was like, oh, well, my dad's giving it to me. He won't hurt me. He won't try to take advantage of me. He won't use me. So she signed it. Jim Bob is a disgusting, evil man. Again, a man who got his teachings and the way of thinking from the IBLP. I will get to that in a minute. So Jill and her husband, they, you know, were in the documentary. Jim Bob's sister was in the documentary, and two of Jim Bob and Michelle's friends. What's interesting about this friend is they wanted their daughter to date and possibly marry Josh. But then when the news came out that he was a perv sicko, they were like, were you going to tell us this? And this man sat in front of the camera and said that Jim Bob looked at him about his daughter and said, hey, listen, I thought that if my son, who touches his own sisters, if he marries your daughter, it will fix him. See, we will see a married young man, and people will forget about that he's a sicko. He actually told this man that. And so his friend, he was like, so you mean to tell me you were going to use my daughter for a curve? Are you serious? And Jim Bob said, yes. How this man did not beat the holy crap out of Jim Bob, I don't know, because he would have got busted all upside his face. And y'all know I don't believe in the V word. That is a warranted ass whooping. He should have dragged him from one side of the street to the other on the back of his car. So Jill says, no, I was not paid. I didn't get a dime. I asked for little crumbs. Nothing. So they continue filming. Okay. And then Jill starts seeing what her family, what her father was truly like. The evil that is this man that raised her. See, it was all about the money. It was all about, shiny, happy things. Let's put out there in the public a different perspective than what's going on behind closed doors. Let's make the people think that we're this perfect little family. Even though behind closed doors, I am a monster, I am a user, I am an abuser mentally. And there was a question about physically, but no one said. So, as time went on, Jill said, listen, we need some money. Okay? We need some money. I have a family now. Things need to be said and we need to be paid. So Jim Bob done come to, okay, we'll give you something. He even told his son-in-law, okay, so what, $10 an hour? They have made millions. So they gave each kid a lump sum. And of course, the boys, I'm sure, got more than the girls. So she was like, something isn't right. This. And so TLC and the father, Jim Bob, says, oh, well, sorry, dear. You signed a contract. She was like, I signed that? Are you serious? I would never sign anything like that. But of course, she did. But before she could get her lump sum of money, they had to sign another contract. Instead of Jim Bob giving them the money that they deserve because they made the show a success, he kept it. Jill finally came to her senses, okay? After a, mission work in another country, she said, that's it, okay? I'm not coming back home to film. This is why I'm here, okay? I'm doing mission work. Take it the way you want to take it. And then she eventually stopped filming and they eventually stopped being on the show. And she does not have a relationship with her mom and dad. And I don't blame her. Jill, stay away. Stay away. Like I said, several family members participated in this documentary. Jill, her husband, the sister, the cousin Amy, who was a regular on 19 Kids and Counting. And boy, was she a breath of fresh air. She was bubbly. She was funny. She was outgoing. She was totally different than her cousins. Okay? Totally different way of life. She could have a life. So she was someone that I look forward to seeing because, how can someone who was in a family like the Duggars be so different? Well, that came from Jim Bob's sister, which is Amy's mom, totally different way of upbringing. So it was good seeing Amy and her husband. Also, we have the ex-IBLP members, and boy oh boy were they talking. Okay, now since they use these terms, I'm going to use these terms. Okay, so let's talk about the IBLP, and let me get it right with what the meaning is of IBLP. The Institute of Basic Life Principles. It is founded by Bill Gothard, the devil himself. What an evil, evil man. Now, during this documentary, someone said a perfect analogy for this awful man. Y'all remember the movie The Jungle Book? And then there was the snake, the charming snake, okay, who made people hypnotic, okay, who made people think the way the snake, should be thinking, just hypnotized them, okay. That was Bill Gothard, okay. This man had no children, never been married, no church, not a pastor, but he was able to stand up in front of thousands of people and convince them how they should raise their children, how you should be a wife, how you should be a father, husband, mother, sister, brother. Even though he's never been married or had children. But see, they looked the other way because see, what this man said was, given to him through God. They were enamored. And they thought, this man can really help me. And this Bill Gothard, the devil himself, had so many followers. Not just regular schmegular people. He had powerful people behind him. Politicians. Businessmen. Okay? The CEO of Hobby Lobby was his biggest donator. Absolutely blows my mind. This is a man who garnered millions, $90 million off the back of these people believing his bullshit. And that's exactly what it was, because see, the IBLP ex-members told it all. How the majority of the members was homeschooled, how they did not have the proper teachings that they should be having if they were in a regular public or private school. Bill Gothard, wrote up this fake, book, these teachings that didn't even make any sense. It was a bunch of rambling bullshit. None of it was factual, okay? None of it was facts. It was just things that he thought in his head, and he put them down, and people believed it. These children did not get the proper education that they needed because Bill Gothard didn't think anything about these children. He could care less. And here is Jim Bob and Michelle doing these teachings to their children. Here they have these children around this sick Bill Gothard, because yes, I'm going to use the term sick. Yes, I'm going to use the term cult. Because see, Bill Gothard was going around, okay, this little academy, institute, camp, hurting young girls. Oh yes, y'all. Physically, emotionally, mentally, and sexually. He was taking advantage of these young girls. And not only him, his brother. Oh, his brother was all involved. He was doing the same thing. And instead of them punishing his brother, Bill Gothard just moved his brother to another building and said, go about your way, okay? If I don't see it, it ain't happening, you feel me? So the brother continued to hurt these young girls. And then he got to the point where the board members and other members were saying, now wait a minute, something's not right, okay? We have to do something with your brother. So Bill Gothard, the founder of the IBLP, said, you know what, you're right. My brother is a sicko. He is hurting girls, so this is my solution. The girl that he's hurting, the girl that he's sexually assaulting, how about if they get married? Ha! Burn in hell, Gothard. See, what's below hell? Okay, what is below hell? Because that is where this man is going. Him and his brother, you sick son of a bitch. And to think that there are mothers and fathers out there who sent their children to be taught by this man. And you cannot tell me that they didn't hear the birds chirping, the gossip that was going around. Because see, eventually, the brother was gone. Okay. Now, it was a point during this documentary that blew my mind. There was a pastor by the name, let me get his name right. Pastor Bill Legion. Now there was a part where Pastor Legion was talking about disciplining your child. Because see, that was a big part of Bill Gothard's teaching. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Authority, authority, authority. Obey, obey, obey by any means necessary. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Right? So, one of the ex-IBLP members said that he was beaten for hours. Several of them said that. How they were physically abused by their own family because of these teachings. Because of what this horrible, disgusting, evil man is putting out there in the world. Pure devil. What a sick man. But, oh wow, everything was happy and, you know, unicorn and rainbows. So there was a part of this documentary where this pastor said, hey, okay, let's who wants to volunteer up their child? Oh, come on, little Billy. Come on, little Billy. Someone actually sent their child on stage to be with this man. So this man said, I'm going to teach you how to spank your child and honor them at the same time. So he proceeds to fake spank this little boy who was no older than 8 or 9. This is why you're being spanked. Again, this is not his child. He didn't even know who he was. This is why you're being spanked. You understand? Now give me a hug. Then this creepazoid looked at this young boy and says, I don't think you felt that hug. I didn't feel that hug. I'm going to have to spank you again so I can get a hug from you. And the people are laughing while this pastor is spanking this boy just so he can get a hug from an 8-year-old boy. Tell me this place ain't burning in hell. it was so frustrating that I was witnessing this, that I seen the people smiling and laughing and thinking that this is the way that they should live and treat their children. But again, Bill Gothard was God. Everything he said was gold. See, he wanted it to take it back to the good old days, okay? To the days where white was right. Let's just call it what it is. Because, see, the good old days wasn't good for the women, okay? The good old days definitely wasn't good for black people or people of color, period. But let me tell you who it was good for. White Protestants, especially white men. So that was the days that he wanted to, take it back to. And here are people believing in that. So the stories are just horrific that these ex-members are telling. The abuse that was going on underneath these people's eyes, underneath this so-called, following academies. These children are being handled like dogs, not humans, not people, animals. And that's how they were treated. Again, years go by, money's coming in. You have the backing of politicians, Mike Huckabee, big CEO members. Bill Gothard was the man. And let's not forget, Josh and the children grew up around all of that. Around that. Why is it that Josh felt comfortable in hurting his sisters? Why is it that Josh has not taken accountability for his actions whatsoever? How is it that his mother and father did not give him the proper help that he needed? Because he was around the sickos who was doing the teaching. Josh was 12, 13 years old when he was out here touching his sisters. And till this day, he has yet to take accountability for it. The IBLP, according to the ex-members, was nothing but a place to raise predators. Okay? Those words were theirs, not mine. Their words, not mine. Of course, Bill Gothard, all right, they can close their eyes forever, okay? They can't become Helen Keller forever. And then eventually it came out that he was a sick, perverted, abusive man. Just the level of hurt that he has done to these people over the years. Not just girls, but boys. Okay? Not physically that we know of, not sexually that we know of, but the mental and the emotional pain that he has caused these young men and women. This Bill Gothard was huge. Okay? He did his teachings at the military, in the prisons, police academies. People looked up to this man. Meanwhile, angel in the front, devil in behind closed doors. Absolute horrible, horrible human being. And Jim Bob and Michelle was right there in the midst. Okay? When he eventually had to leave and step down, it was Jim Bob who they wanted to take over. I don't think y'all really understand the gravity of how big 19 Kids and County was. It was all over the world. and they made a lot of money. So, anyway, that's it, y'all. I done talked enough. Okay? What did you all think about this documentary? It's a 4-parter. It's on Amazon Prime. But if you have Freevee, Freevee, you can watch the first 3 episodes for free. So, anyway, I enjoyed the documentary. Okay? I wish the Duggars, the children, F Michelle and Jim Bob, F them forever, okay? I don't respect them, none whatsoever. But for the children, I just wish y'all better days. And I hope that y'all are getting the therapy and the counseling that you need. Because you need it. You need it. Okay? So anyway, I know a couple of girls, you know, they done wrote a book about them and memoirs about them. And they still have fans. Jim Bob and Michelle still have fans. They still have supporters who are still defending what Josh did. Talking about everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to need for all y'all to soak in acid. All of you that's defending this sick man and his sick son and the sick Bill Gothard and the IBLP. That's it, y'all. That's it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, friends,